person, let alone all over social media.
I think you're supposed to. Sorry. I think you're supposed to pause so that you can get your drink, but. Okay, sorry.
So then, on the flip side, what do children mean to you?
I don't know. I think about it a little bit in regards to, I don't know that we would say that children would complete us as a family. I mean, we're comfortable with the two of us, but I see there's children, I see it in my nieces and my nephews. There's so much, I don't want to say potential, there's just so much hope, so much just possibilities, and I love the idea of getting to come alongside children for us and like getting to see them like fulfill their dreams and helping them to pursue those dreams. And so I think children for us would be that opportunity of just coming alongside some little people.
Yeah, I think it's just it's pretty exciting to have a child and to watch them grow and help them grow, you know, and become whatever they want to become in life. Having children, that's kind of what that means to me.
We always knew we wanted to have a family. We didn't just want to jump into it right away. And we went on this friend vacation to Myrtle Beach with some friends. A couple of them had kids. And it was like this light bulb, I think more so for Aaron. I think I was getting more of the itch and ready to start trying. And he was just like, oh, like you can still have fun and go places and do things with children. And so that for us was kind of the starting point of us making that commitment, like, okay, we're ready, let's go ahead and start trying. Yeah.
I mean, we both always wanted to have kids and have a family and, you know, do that whole sort of thing. And we had conversations of what our family would look like and what our kids would look like. And that was probably when we actually got serious about it. And it was definitely after that vacation when we get back and we're like, you know, let's take this seriously. Let's let it happen.
We had no idea the adventure that we were embarking on. For some people, I think it is surprisingly easy to conceive a child. Unfortunately, that wasn't our experience. We tried for 6 months, and I actually reached out to my gynecologist, made an appointment. She ran some testing, and everything came back normal. She's like, you are two late 20-some-year-olds, healthy individuals, no smoking, no excessive drinking, no, you know, like you work out, you're healthy weights. I can't imagine that there's anything going on. We always want you to practice for like a year. Try.
We got a lot of practice in. They say practice makes perfect.
Right. So ultimately, we did that. We went back for a little bit more testing, and that's when she recommended that we go ahead and be referred to an endocrinologist, a reproductive endocrinologist. And that's when I think things started to kind of become a little bit real for me as an individual of that this could be difficult, and had to kind of accept that. The more that we learned, everything in the male reproductive fertility was fine. We didn't have any issues in that side of it, and we realized that the majority of it was stemming on my side of things. So that's where we began doing almost 7 years now of fertility treatments. We've probably gone through everything of just medications to medical procedures to assist. I've had multiple surgeries to investigate things. I have gotten diagnosed with endometriosis. Initially, it was mild, which I have several friends, family members who have mild endometriosis that conceive naturally. So we just still didn't know why we were having the barriers that we were having. After our exploratory surgery and learning that diagnosis, we were given the recommendation of trialing IVF. And that was a big discussion for us. We, at that point, were really trying to decide if we wanted to continue pursuit of science and assisting us to conceive, or if we were ready to venture down the road of adoption. And I think that we knew there would always be that question in the mind, what if? Like, what if we didn't pursue IVF? Like, what if IVF could have worked for us? So we went down the route of IVF.
What was your reaction to realizing that this journey is about to unfold?
So nobody ever, thinks like, hey, I'm going to be one of those people that, can't have kids. Everybody's just like, when it's time to have kids, we'll just try and then we'll have kids. You don't think that it's going to be you that it's not going to work for.
Mm-hmm.
So after, talking to that doctor after the first 6 months and then after a year, they tell you, keep trying for a year. After a year and you've tried and nothing happened, then it's probably time to look at, see what's going on. And so after we did try for a year, then you're thinking, oh, well, maybe there is something going on here. And, being a man in that situation, and, you always have this kind of manliness, I guess I would say, about yourself, like, well, like, I'm okay, my stuff's okay, and if it's not, then you start to get really nervous that, man, this could be me, and it starts to kind of, and it's sad that we kind of go there, as a man, that's where my manliness is in my ability to do that, to seed and to have children. And so that was kind of eye-opening for me and made me really nervous there.
I think for me, I was really having the struggles of, as a woman, you just have that pressure to an extent with society that women are to mother, and to have that small glimpse of me not being able to conceive a child naturally or to carry a child of our genetic coding. I think that's part of the thing that I struggle with the most is I so badly, because I love this man and he's my partner in life, I want to be able to carry his daughter or son. And so it's kind of challenging when you do have that desire to have biological children, too, as a woman, to really grapple with that idea that you may never be able to fulfill that, I guess, expectation. And so, and it's sad that I view it as this expectation, because Aaron's reminded me constantly. My sister, my family have always talked about how I am motherly to a lot of people in my life already. Like my nieces, my nephews, they look up to me in a motherly fashion, even though I'm their aunt. I helped with the youth group. Like they're just...
So we had someone that was asking us questions in kind of like an interview setting just this week. And one of the questions that they asked me was, Aaron, what kind of mother do you think Carolyn would be? And it was such an easy question for me to answer. And I go, what kind of mother is she? She's already a mother to so many people. She's the mother to her nieces and her nephews. She takes them in anytime they need it. She loves on them. She cares for them. She takes care of them. She's a mother to our friends' kids. Anytime, drop of a hat, when they call her to watch them or need something, she's right there. She's a mother to teenage girls at our church youth group, pouring into their lives. I mean, to me, that's the definition of a mother. And she checks all those boxes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's uncertain. We don't know why we're not able to conceive naturally, or why my body isn't able to carry children.
And I think that's also an important distinction. We'll get questions from people, and it really bothers me. And they'll go, well, who is it? Is it you or is it her? And I hate that with a passion, because we're married, we're one. It's not her infertility, it's not my infertility, it's our infertility. So whenever they ask that question, I typically go, it's us. We're in this together, it's both of us.
So you guys, walking through infertility, you tried IVF.
Right.
How many times did you try IVF? What's that story there?
I think with everything though, we were kind of baffling our doctors as to why our initial transfers weren't working. So we had actually, from the first egg retrieval, had 6 embryos, and of those 6 embryos, not first cycle, we had actually had a chemical pregnancy, which was the start of life, and it just didn't grow far enough into where we could see the heartbeat. But also within that first egg retrieval is when we had our first pregnancy. And that first pregnancy was exciting for us. We had at that point been into this journey at 5 years. So it took 5 years before we conceived with IVF. So IVF was successful for us. Our numbers started out low. In our first ultrasound at 7 weeks, the baby was a little bit behind in growth. And they were confident that it was gonna grow and catch up. But that was actually the miscarriage, was shortly after Mother's Day and of that year. And
It was about 9 weeks.
And it was, I think that very first pregnancy loss was devastating, but you had this tag of hopefulness because I conceived. Like it was this, like, this is possible for us. This is the first time in 5 years that we were like truly hopeful that we were gonna have a biological child. And so after that, obviously my body needed to normalize. We took some time off, and then we did another transfer, and actually nothing, we didn't have anything come out of that. It was very important for me ethically. We had the discussion that I was going to, no matter what, carry all of our embryos. Those were the start of life for us. They were our genetic coding. We knew even before then that we didn't want to make too many embryos because we were kind of under the impression, because we were so healthy and checking off all these boxes, like we were going to be successful pretty quick on and have all of these little embryos waiting to transfer in the future for our future kids. Like it was, we were pretty naive starting out with it. It wasn't until we got into more and more of those transfers, the physical toll it was taking on my body, the interruption it was taking on our social life. Everything is timed so specifically.
The toll it takes on your just intimacy as well as a couple. I mean, that takes a big toll on your marriage.
Right. So that was our first egg retrieval. We also had the opportunity of doing a second egg retrieval, and after having the first pregnancy, we were a lot more confident with the second egg retrieval. We chose to do genetic testing at that point, still with the impression that no matter what that genetic coding came back as, we were going to carry those, and or I was going to carry those embryos at some point.
And once again, everything comes back normal. You know, everything looks good to go, and so we're confident. And how many did we have on that round?
So with that egg retrieval, we had 3 genetically normal embryos. Our first embryo transfer with that was another chemical pregnancy. So after having the miscarriage and then a chemical pregnancy, I went under another procedure to just investigate and see what was going on. After that procedure, then we did our second transfer with that egg retrieval or embryo cycle, and that was our second pregnancy. Our second pregnancy was textbook perfect. We got to go in, and because we lost our first pregnancy at 9 weeks, they decided that they were going to actually have us do an ultrasound at the 7-week, 8-week, and 9-week mark. Our baby's heartbeat was strong and beautiful at every ultrasound. The growth was right on track. Our numbers were all looking wonderful. I remember driving to our 10-week ultrasound. I was meeting Aaron there, and I had this like weird, like I'm on 69 driving north, and I had this like weird, all of a sudden, like pit in my stomach. Wow. Like it was very sudden. And I just had this like overwhelming feeling like something was wrong. And we went in, and that's when like the floor went out from under us, because that was our second miscarriage. And our baby stopped growing at 10 weeks. So that's when the reality kind of set in, like, maybe this isn't possible for us. We still had one genetically tested embryo. That's when we decided it was time for us to take a break. And we took an awesome excursion around Europe. We needed that time to just rekindle us as humans, as a married couple.
Yeah.
I needed some physical healing, emotional healing, and then we made the commitment. And that's when I think we started having the conversation. If this transfer doesn't work, it's maybe time to discuss closing this chapter. So this past fall, in 2019, we transferred our last embryo in September, and that little guy turned into a baby. So we again had strong, beautiful pregnancy numbers, and we got to see our third child's heartbeat at 7 weeks. And at 9 weeks, we went back for our second ultrasound, and the baby had stopped growing. So we kind of made that decision after that final miscarriage. We kind of just knew it was time.
So you guys have obviously grown close through all of this and been through a lot of highs and then a lot of lows. What is the next chapter?
So we'd always talked about this. You know, if you spend 15 years together, you talk about your future and family and what that all looks like. And we've always been on board with wanting to adopt at some point. You know, we just didn't know that we would kind of be forced into that. And not saying that is a bad thing.
Yeah.
But after this last pregnancy and pregnancy loss, miscarriage at 10 weeks, you know, we had to sit back and look, do we want to continue to pursue this when we don't know if it's ever going to happen, or just the scary thought of if we do get pregnant, we'll lose it again. And so after, you know, just time to think about it, pray about it, talk to other people, you know, we decide, you know what, no, we want to adopt. So our plan now is, you know, to adopt a child.
Yeah. Or 2 or 3 in Aaron's opinion.
Yeah.
Like all at the same time.
Are you excited about that decision?
Yeah. It's for sure been, again, going into that final transfer, we had to have that conversation up front. Like, if this is going to be us closing this chapter, if it works, if it doesn't, that was the thing for us, is that, like Aaron said, adoption was always on the table for us. We just always envisioned it as us having our biological children first. And again, we have a beautiful community of parents who have adopted, that we know through acquaintances and family friends. We have friends who have been adopted, and so we have a church that is very supportive of orphan care, and so it's always been something on our hearts. And so like Aaron said, it may have came in a different way than we imagined, but as we mentioned before, we're ready to be a family, and we are so excited about having children. May they be biological or adopted, and them still being our children and getting to help them to pursue their dreams.
If, in this moment, what would you say to your future children?
We can't wait to meet you.
Yeah, we're excited to meet you.
We have a lot of love to give.
No matter who you are, you're part of our family. Your last name will be our last name. Everything that we have is yours.